He's a Hall of Famer, so why not have a Hall of Excellence? Jim Gray, the co-host, Let's Go podcast, Hall of Excellence Museum, partnering with Tom Brady. And when we were out at the Super Bowl, they announced that they were going to have this Hall of Excellence at the Fontainebleau in Las Vegas, our home away from home, the newest luxury hotel on the Strip. And Jim joining us as they get ready for the grand opening today. Jim, great to see you. How long has this been in the works?
Great to see you, Dan. Thanks for having me on. 8 years. 8 years we've been talking about this, and today the public gets to share in all these great artifacts. So it's been a long journey, a lot of twists and turns, but here we are, and hope everybody comes and enjoys it. Get all this stuff out of people's safe deposit boxes, out of their warehouses, out of these auctions, and now everybody can come see. The fans saw it when they earned these achievements, when they produced this excellence, and now they can share in it.
Run down the list of items that people can see at the Fontainebleau.
Muhammad Ali's robe, his final robe, was he got ready for Trevor Burbick. Kobe Bryant's first jersey that he wore on national TV in the McDonald's All-American game. The bat that Jackie Robinson used to break the color barrier. All of Tom Brady's 7 rings, in fact, 8 rings, including his Orange Bowl ring, his jerseys, and so forth. We've got Babe Ruth's called shot bat. We've got the only bat that we know in existence from Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak. LeBron James, the basket that was used when he broke Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record. The torch that lit Muhammad Ali's torch for the Olympics. A baseball by every president to throw out a first pitch dating all the way back to Woodrow Wilson. Oprah Winfrey's Medal of Freedom. Clint Eastwood's Academy Award for Unforgiven, his first one. We have a trophy room for everything that's competed for in life. Pete Sampras's Wimbledon trophy. Billie Jean King's Wimbledon dish. The claret jug from Tom Weisskopf. The Heisman Trophy of Charles Woodson. I can go on and on. There's 300 artifacts. Do you want to? we got a lot of stuff here. How long
does it take to go through?
Well, Morgan Freeman is the voice of God and our voice of the Hall of Excellence, and he takes you through a tour, and that will take you about 38 minutes if you listen to Morgan. But on each and every artifact, Dan, you can hit a button, and then you'll hear the greatest voices of our time. We have Marv Albert for basketball and the Dream Team. We have Bob Costas for baseball and the Olympics. We have Jim Nantz for golf. We have Oprah Winfrey for the entertainment. We have Andres Cantor, who does the soccer. We have Mike Emmerich, who does the hockey, and Mary Carrillo for tennis, and Tom for his artifacts, me for boxing. So you can come in here and you can be inspired, you can be educated, and hopefully entertained.
Okay. How do you go about getting all of this stuff?
Well, that's why it's taken 8 years, Dan. I've called in every favor from everybody. And when you're calling with Tom Brady's name attached, it opens all of the doors. And I had a bunch of stuff that had been given to me over the years by all of these great athletes. And they didn't give it to me because they wanted me to give it away or to sell it. They gave it to me because they wanted me to have it. So now I wanted to display this. I don't have children, so there's no one to pass it on to. So why not let the public come in and see it and get these things into a place? And the Fontainebleau Hotel has just been a great partner. Jeff Sofer, you stayed here. Yeah. You were here for the Super Bowl. This place is spectacular, and they've been a spectacular partner to work with.
Is Tom Brady nostalgic? Is he a collector?
He is. He's been collecting things since the day he went to the catch. And he came home with that styrofoam finger number 1 that he was waving when Dwight Clark caught that pass from Joe Montana. He collected cards. He's very into this. He comes in here and he spends hours, and he's just astonished. He's moved by it because, Tom has often said that anybody can be great. You can be great for a game. You can be great for a season. But what about the sustained test of time? That's what excellence is. And it was Al Davis who said commitment to excellence. And of course, we're here with the Raiders. Al was a dear friend of mine. And Al, we'd have many, many dinners, hundreds of dinners back in Los Angeles when the Raiders were there. And he once said to me he wanted to have a Raiders Hall of Fame. And I said, you know what, Al, great idea. You should call it the Hall of Excellence. And he said, Jimmy, that's a pretty good idea. Unfortunately, he never got to it in his lifetime. Perhaps Mark Davis will build one here. But that's where I came up with the germ of this Hall of Excellence. So I said this to Tom about 8 years ago. I said, I've got all this stuff. And he broke some record. I said, what do you do with all this stuff? He said, I put it down in my closet and I've got a storage room. And I said, we should do this. And that's where the germ of the idea came. And that's how we've gotten here today.
How do you think that movie is going to portray John Madden and Al Davis that's set to come out?
They better get it right. They better get it right. I hope they get it right. It's a tribute to them that they're doing it. But if they screw around and jag it all up and make it all wrong, that would be a shame. But I hope that the people who are doing it are diligent. And Madden's an icon. Al's the only man. Al's the only man in the history of football to be a scout, an assistant general manager, a president, a head coach, an assistant coach, and a commissioner. So he's one of a kind. So I hope they get it right.
And with John Madden, what did he have? A 10-year career as a coach? But
Yep.
I like, people don't really think of him as a coach. Like when you say, "Oh, he was a great coach," and they go, "He coached," they think of video games and being a broadcaster there. But I think he won 100 games in those 10 years.
He was the fastest to win 100 games and get that percentage at the time. And yeah, we have a tribute to John Madden. I lived at John's house. I was like the guy who came for dinner and never left at the Dakota when I got my first job at NBC back in the late 80s. And so I stayed there. And a lot of great stories with John. But we have a shrine to the All Madden team, one of his Emmys, and his last plane ticket that Mike and Virginia Madden gave us, his last plane ticket before the advent of the train and then the Madden Cruiser. And it's right here behind us, Dan.
Where is the Madden Cruiser?
I believe the Madden Cruiser is at the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio, and that they use it as a special exhibit and tour it around from time to time. And the Pro Football Hall of Fame has been great to us. We have a deal with them where they've given us some artifacts. They've been great. The Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame, the USGA and the Golf Hall of Fame, and Graceland. We have something for everybody. We have the very first, Dan, if you walk the strip right now, it's 110 degrees out there. If you walk the strip, you're going to see 20 people dressed as Elvis Presley walking around.
Yeah.
Take their picture. We have Elvis Presley's first suit that he wore for his first residency from Graceland and the people at ABG, and they were just great. So we have that when he appeared across the street at the International Hotel. We also have the Beatles' first poster and program signed by them. It was $3 to go back on that night in Cleveland.
Give me the Holy Grail. What's the one item that you're still in pursuit of?
That's a great question. It's a great question. I'm not sure that there is something that is. There are a lot of things that we would, obviously we will continue and grow and always curate the museum. There are a lot of great athletes. I'm sure, something from Jesse Owens. We have a Changed the World right behind this wall exhibit where we have Jackie Robinson, Muhammad Ali, Bill Russell, his MVP award that his wife Janine has granted us, loaned on display. Billie Jean King, her dress, for her iconic dress from the Philadelphia Freedom. Jim Brown's helmet when he broke the record as a Cleveland Brown, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So, we're always looking for people who change the world. So perhaps Jesse Owens for his great feats, what he did at the Berlin Olympics. And, right in front of me is Simone Biles and Shohei Ohtani and Tom Shoes from when he came back from 28-3. So we've got so many great items here, but there's always room to improve. Commitment to excellence never ends, Dan.
But if Tom wants one of his Super Bowl rings, how does he get it?
He calls us up and he says, I want to wear this tonight. And guess what? Everybody who's loaned us, every single person who's loaned us, the day they want it back is the day we give it back. And so Tom will come and take his ring and, we'll say temporarily unavailable, come back tomorrow.
Before I let you go, the Pete Rose situation, I did think about you when the commissioner said that he would consider putting him up, for Hall of Fame or putting him on the ballot. And at the time, I thought the timing was weird. I know that we're looking at a lifetime ban, but it wasn't it was a permanent ban. It wasn't his lifetime. And then they changed it to a lifetime ban. And then there was some wiggle room, President Trump's role in this with the commissioner. And I did think of you, of what you think. How does baseball honor Pete Rose?
Dan, I've always said this. We do not live in the Soviet Union. Pete Rose's accomplishments are his accomplishments, and we should not be trying to erase them. What he did on the field was the greatest hitter of all time by the numbers, and that should be acknowledged, and he should be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. By the same token, while it was coupled, there's consequence for action, and he walked in front of that sign. That sign didn't say no steroids. It didn't say no domestic abuse. It said no gambling, and he saw that sign 30,000 times, but it was a lifetime ban. His lifetime is over. The Hall of Fame committee now, when it reconvenes for that committee, should consider him. And I believe because of what he achieved, I've always said he should be in the Hall of Fame. But it should be noted on his plaque that he was banned from baseball due to gambling. And that was a part of his life. And that should be a part of the plaque. But yes, his records are his records. And if you have his bat in there for breaking the record, and you have his uniform or one of the balls or whatever it is that Cooperstown displays, he's in the Hall of Fame. And when his plaque and when his time is done, the shame of it is that Pete didn't get to see it while he was alive. That the reform that Commissioner Giamatti asked him to reconfigure his life, that didn't happen, and that's sad, and that's sad for him. He's gone now, and sad for his family. And it's just all kind of too bad because what he did on the field and what he achieved on the field, was so super, so great.
How do you differentiate Pete from Barry Bonds, who did it on the field, but under, certainly a cloud of suspicion that what Pete did on the field wasn't under suspicion, but certainly Bonds, what he did, can you put him in the Hall of Fame? Well, they haven't voted him in, so he is at least on the ballot. But having a plaque that says this is what he was accused of or involved in, or how do you edit this?
Dan, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I sometimes do that in my career. ask a question. How is Bud Selig, who profiteered in the Baseball Hall of Fame, who stood over this, watched over, presided over all of this, yet all of the guys who he presided over are banished or not allowed? Come on, this is ridiculous. He got called to the carpet by Congress. That's why he altered his position, because he didn't want to lose antitrust. And so now we put Bud Selig, who I love. I'm personally very fond of Bud. I love Sue Selig. She's one of my favorite people. But come on, this stuff's ridiculous. You can be in the Hall of Fame. You let all of this go on. All of the clubs profiteered. The attendance was up. This was what, I don't want to say it was the standard, because I don't want to besmirch the people who didn't. But I'm saying this was prevalent. And there are a lot of guys who are under this cloud. And so I would hope that at some point baseball would find a way to have the grace to say this was a part of our life. Let's denote it. Mm-hmm. Let's show it. Let's explain it. And let's move on. Barry Bonds was great long before anything that he was accused of. Okay? So I believe he belongs in the Hall of Fame. That's my personal opinion. I don't like anybody who cheats. I don't like anybody who skirts the rules. I don't like when it's under a cloud of suspicion or that somebody has an advantage. But I think when it's prevalent and the commissioner is allowed to be in the Hall of Fame, then the people who are doing it should have that same consideration.
Yeah,
that's what I would think.
Yeah, I don't want to be holier than thou, but I did think when Bud Selig was going to go into the Hall of Fame that you say no because you have to acknowledge what happened under your leadership.
Exactly.
Or put it on his plaque. And you're right. Bud Selig, I love Bud. His wife is very nice and a frequent listener of the show. But I thought maybe you'd say, hey, I was the guy in charge of this. Now, he wasn't as strong as Donald Fear in the Players Association. He told me that numerous times. He said, there's only so much I can do. And that's why he started really going after testing in the minor leagues. But still, it's under your watch that this happened, one of the darkest eras in Major League Baseball history.
Can I say something before we go?
Sure.
You're a great voice, what you did for John Facenda, Brent Musburger. Dan, you are a Hall of Famer. You belong in a Hall of Excellence. You've been long over the test of time you have sustained. So I appreciate what you do for our fellow brethren. I appreciate what you do for the public.
Thank you.
Your interviews are great. You're great. You're personally a friend of mine. I'm biased, but you're just spectacular, and you belong in the Hall of Fame, in all these halls of fame. And I thank you for what you do for all of us. And it's a lifetime of achievement, and you've been spectacular. And I want to say that because you go to bat for everybody, and all of us should be batting for you.
Would you like a Sports Center suit that I wore to put in the Hall of Excellence, Jim? I mean,
We will hang that proudly.
okay.
We have a football here. We do have a football here that was given to me by Mark Davis, Bobby Romansky, and Dick Romansky. The Romanskys are the only people who've ever been in the equipment room for the Raiders. It's signed by every Super Bowl announcer all the way through 45 that's in a case here. Every Super Bowl announcer, going back to Ray Scott and Kurt Gowdy, who did Super Bowl #1. Howard Cosell's on there, Madden and Summerall, all the great names.
Wow.
So, yes, Dan, send your suit, please.
I'll see
With
you
the big
soon.
ESPN patch.
Yes.
The big ESPN Getty patch.
I
please.
have my ESPN patch around here somewhere. Berman gave it to me, my magnetic ESPN patch. Hopefully I'll see you there maybe in the fall out in Vegas, Jim. And thank you again. You did a wonderful job.
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it.
That's Jim Gray. He's in the Basketball Hall of Fame, the Boxing Hall of Fame, and it's the Hall of Excellence. You'll find that at the Fontainebleau Hotel, the newest luxury hotel on the Strip. We'll take a break. We're back after this Dan Patrick Show.